This must be his desk, meaning this must also be his study. Like, how long ago was Enoch? Because Pearl-Ann just died. So that was Tabitha's mother, our aunt. I'm trying to remember what Enoch was to Pearl-Ann. Is he our grandfather or our great-grandfather? I don't remember. Enoch is great-great-grand... Yeah, I thought it was something like that. But I was trying to remember if I was mistaken and he was actually like... But yeah, okay, great-great-grandfather. Yeah, so this is old. This stuff's old. Nobody's cleared this out for a while. At the bottom of the drawer, you're surprised to find a face you recognize staring back up at you. An antique photograph of a young man, his blonde hair neatly white against the dark sepia background. It's Teddy. He looks almost exactly the same as he did in your vision. Almost. There's a carefree look in his eye that seemed to have faded by the time he found his way to that hospital bed. Okay, how about the bottom drawer? The bottom drawer jams as you attempt to pry it open. It would seem that, even after all of these years, the lock on it still holds. If only he had a little more strength. Your strength is Charlie's now, isn't it? That's another thing that I feel like, another reason I regret giving up years of my life is that, like, now the ghost is... I don't know. I think the ghost does become more powerful if you don't do anything about it, though. But it's kind of like the same with Reese, is that I feel like the way I kept him alive, it means he's still available to be exploited by whatever entity got Dr. Kelly pregnant in the first place. But I don't know, maybe it's not that. Maybe I just condemned him to shit life for no reason. I don't know. Dustin disappears from your shoulder and under the desk. Oh! Oh my gosh, Dustin! He's got street smart? Let's go. Oh wait, Edwardine is grandmother. Her dad, Enoch, is great-grandfather. Yeah, I think that sounds right. Yeah. I don't remember. I need to look it up. I remember, like, going on the Discord and trying to look up the theories of what's going on. What's all these things? I remember something... I didn't pick up on it. Right? I didn't pick up on it, but something that was pointed out in the Discord server. The doll you find... The Scarlet that belongs to... She went missing, and we never really found out if she actually died or not. Like, the little girl. She went missing. But she went missing at, like, the same time as somebody else died. Something like that. It was like the dates were the same, and it was like, oh, that's strange. Something might be connected here. I don't remember. I don't know. I'm happy to play the game and be shocked when things happen, but there's plenty of theory crafting going on if you're interested in that kind of thing. A moment later, it pops open, his beady eyes beaming up at you from over the edge. Dustin, you are a legend. Inside you find a strange collection of glass vials. Their surfaces are clouded over, but you can make out what seems to be paper, preserved somehow inside the containers, a hint of writing visible at the edges. You notice some of the corks have been lightly chewed. Pretty good for eating. Dustin, always save these for special occasion. Tastes like old pond. Fine vintage. Okay. Yeah, man. Sure. You reach for one of them, twisting the cork. It unseals with a pop, releasing a smell like an old pond, like decaying leaves and damp earth. You tug at the corner of the slip of paper and it unfurls, writing across its surface as crisp and clear as if it had just been written. To Miss Maeve. I know it has been several years since my last visit, but I do hope you remember the young lad who used to find himself at your doorstep more than you probably would have liked. I write you now with the utmost that the paper dissolves before you can finish reading it. As if it finally realized that it had been submerged all these years, turning to useless pulp between your fingers. New place to get tasty wits! Nothing Dustin Mum liked to see more than Dustin live in comfort. But Dustin better not let comfort make him soft. This how Dustin brother die. It's unlikely you'll have the chance to return here, and the vials are too delicate to carry with you. Keep reading. Yeah, I wonder if you have book smart, maybe you can read fast enough that you can actually read the whole thing, right? Like, if you're book smart, you're a speed reader. I wonder. But I'll keep reading. I'll see if there's info I can glean from this. Open another. Ms. Verena, trouble with tea. Your presence requested at another. Verena, you know what you tried. Do not appreciate the attempt at subterfuge. Thought we both. Again, it dissolves. Some of these letters were addressed to Ms. Maeve, and some to Verena. All assigned ES. You assume these have to be from Enoch. Many seem unimportant, just listing a time and place. You assume meetings between Enoch and whoever this Verena may have been. Before you know it, the drawer is empty, the floor around you scattered with drained vials, the air stinking of wet rot. You've seen enough. I wanna, examine the painting in the parlor. Painting highlights a number of old buildings and locales, many of which you've already visited. The town hall, the estate, the mines, and the clinic, still called a hospital at the time of this painting. The church. And then there's somewhere you've yet to see. The historical Callaway/Tremaine homesteads. The faded bronze plaque beneath reads, in commemoration of Enoch Scarlet, head of the Scarlet Hollow Landmark Revitalization Project. Sus. Let the past never be forgotten. See, this whole game we've been going to these locations and we've been finding spooky, symbols, right? And I feel like it's a pretty prevalent theory that this, the Scarlets put him there for some devious purpose. I feel like this is hinting toward that. Dustin no get. That's okay, Dustin. Always making mark on paper. Does not know that paper for eating. You head down the eerie corridor, following the path laid out in the dust. No, Dustin not go there. Dustin come back. Enoch feels like the source of all. Yeah. Evil. No, I get what you mean. You turn to face Dustin's mom, who stands a little ways down the corridor from you, her posture tense. But Dustin is helping. Nothing bad will happen to Dustin with a big, strong human around. Oh, now, honey, don't say that, because I'm gonna feel really bad if something bad does happen to you. Please don't let anything bad happen to Dustin. I've already screwed up so many things in this playthrough. I can't lose Dustin too. He's my best friend. Dustin Mom saying no. Don't care how strong human is. Only Dustin Mom know what is best for Dustin. Dustin looks up at you with his large, black, wet eyes. Human will have to go on without Dustin. That's okay, Dustin. We'll see each other again. He clambers down from his place on your shoulder, gripping your clothes with his little clawed hands. Hope Human can find human-sized hole. We go back to Dustin House now. Human should be careful. Up there always smell like hurting. Oh my. Okay. That is concerning. And with that final word of caution, Dustin and Dustin's mom toddle away, disappearing into some crevice that will take them back to the comfort of your dresser doors. You continue following the track left by what you assume to be your fellow humans. They take you up a flight of stairs and you find yourself on the third floor of the estate for the first time. There are more footprints leading all the way down the hallway and into the father's door. There are much fainter ones leading to the room in front of you, its doorway hidden behind a stack of boxes. The tracks are old enough to have accumulated some dust. They were also notably not made by boots. If you had to guess, you'd assume they were loafers or some other kind of low heel. Approach the window? You carefully approach the window at the far end of the hall. That sure is a cliff. There is nothing below the window but the tops of distant trees, the ground having crumbled away. The only thing stopping you from plummeting to your death is the straining foundation that still somehow holds this place together. At least for now. Okay, let's get away from here. Try to move the boxes. You do your best to shove the boxes out of the way. They feel packed full of lead. You can practically hear your shoulders and hips creaking and straining with the effort, but try as you might, you can only budge them about an inch. They then seem to cement themselves in place, and you find yourself gasping for breath after another few desperate pushes. At least you know the handle can't be in there. No one has been in that room for some time. It's not worth the strain. Enter the middle room. This space was clearly once a nursery, though no child has been in here for a long, long time. Check the bookshelf. The top shelf is occupied by antique pictured books, Dick and Jane, books of nursery rhymes, ancient editions of Grimm's fairy tales. You should hold on to those, they might be worth something. The lower shelves are full of educational material, from children's encyclopedias to writing practice workbooks. From the sheer number of learning-orientated books on the shelf, you get the impression that children who lived here were not supposed to be as interested in fun and fiction as they were in diction and spelling. But that doesn't seem to have stopped them from making their own fun. You see quite a few books with children's art stuffed in between the pages, the corners peeking out, tiny scribbled hands waving at you from their yellowed paper. Okay, let's check out this children's art. You reach for a particularly doodled-on encyclopedia off the shelf, its pages overflowing. If Daddy plays with me and Maribel, if my family goes to the zoo, if Mommy and Grandpa took us to work, if me and Maribel and Mommy and Daddy and Grandpa have a picnic. What's with the if? If is so strange, right? I feel like if, what am I saying? If the word if was not here, these would be very normal children's drawings, right? But just adding the word if is like, that's really weird, right? Because I feel like, it's normal for a kid to draw something like this and be like, yeah, Daddy plays with me and Maribel, right? Me and my sister. But what do you mean if? What do you mean if? All are signed with the carefully scrawled signature of Alexandra Scarlet. There's a strange, fantastical element to these pictures. Everyone is smiling and sitting together as any family would in a child's drawing. And yet it feels like these are drawn in the same hopeful way a child would draw a unicorn. Expressions of some reality that Alexandra could only dream of. Right? Okay. There are less joyful illustrations as well. Daddy napping shows their father sleeping in a chair. See, this one doesn't say if. It doesn't say if Daddy napping. It just is like, that's what he does. A bottle of brown liquid conspicuously drawn on the table next to him. Oh my gosh. The two girls and what you assume must be Alexandra's doll hovering in the doorway some distance away. Mommy going to work shows the girls crying in the upstairs window of the house as their mother walks away, an angry frown scrawled on her face. You get the feeling these are more accurate depictions of the girls' lives. Hold the front door. The last picture you pull out gives you pause. There's a new figure here, seemingly drawn behind a barrier. The girls sit on the other side, smiles on their cartoon faces. The boy in the wall. Wayne! Wayne, what is this? Wayne, explain. Okay. Let's read the practice books. You leaf through a few of the practice workbooks, gently turning the near-crumbling pages. Reasons Mommy should take me and Maribel to the zoo. We have been very good girls and have not cried for a whole week. 2. Maribel says elephants are so big and I would like to see one. 3. I think it would be very fun and Mommy would have a good time. These are also the work of Alexandra. You flip through the rest of the book, your eyes unfocused as the many practice sentences and letter copying pages flash by. But something near the back of the book gives you pause. Okay. In a section that starts with the prompt, Today Alexandra continues with, Talked to the boy in the wall. Yeah, okay. There he is again. Wayne. Were you once a boy in the wall and now you're a man in the wall? Is that what's going on here?